Hello guys. I think 3 months back, Anthropic released a tool called Claude Code, which is a coding agent similar to Cursor, but it works in a CLI. As it is similar to Cursor, it's a closed source application. We can see the system prompts and tool it's used when it tries to accomplish a task. So, but in this video, we are going to break down step by step and go inside the Claude Code code base and see the official system prompt. We are going to verify it and see what are the tool it has and how it acts. End of this video can have a copy of Code System Pump. I am doing this out of curiosity. I also want you guys to try it out. Let's start this video. Before jumping into the code base, we'll see two different code bases. One is open source from Open and similar to Cloud Code agent, and we'll see the Cloud Code agent of the file structure and why we are taking extra step to understand how Cloud Code works. Let's get into I'll go into first. I'll open the OpenAns on GitHub. It's a fully public code, and anyone can read this. I'll go inside the backend folder. This is similar to Cloud Code. There's an AI agent to help you to write code and build any sort of application. So I'll get onto this folder prompt. As you can see the prompt explicitly. You can use it in your own code base. You can read the entire code base and make modification. It depends on the license, but you can understand this code base and implement in your own project, or you can contribute this project too. But whereas if I go to Cloud Code on GitHub, you can see this is completely different from what we saw right now. The open and explicitly mention all the codes on the GitHub. You can see what are the internal workings. But when it comes to Cloud Code, you can't say. You install the given official SDK, you spin up, and you just ask the agent to write the code, all the set of things you asked for, but you will never know what is going under the umbrella. This is a closed source project. This is done to protect the companies from basically access the files, the idea to keep the details private, because as we can't see the open files and read the prompts like we read in OpenAI. So that's the reason we need to take a reverse engineering step to in just stop the video to find and examine the underlying code structures to understand the cloud code workings. So I hope you understand why we are taking extra steps to uncover this in file, because it's a closest project. Let's set up the environment after you download the zip folder from the cloud code or clone it. Or if you clone it, I'll go into the downloads. Go into the downloads. Go into the Cloud Code folder. Now I'll examine the files here. You can see the dev container folder here. So inside this folder, there will be a dev container JSON. Just to explain you what it is. There's a dev container, and I'll go back. This is the file tells the Docker what needs to be installed, what are the images need to be installed, in what packet configuration, so we don't get conflicts while installing it. So it basically create an isolated environment. I'll explain you step by step on why what in this project. This will take you a few seconds. Basically, this commands reads the configuration and create a Ubuntu-based container with Node.js. So install all the requirements that we need for this project. So we don't have to waste our time downloading it manually and configuring it and resolving the conflicts. So installing that once complete, will run the container once. So this is completed. Now we have access with our dev container built and running in background. Now we need to access it, locate where the actual cloud code or executable is installed. This is an important step because there's a difference between project files we downloaded and the actual runnable application code that's not installed during this container build. I'll show you before proceeding. I'll show you the container. You put this Docker PS. Docker can run multiple containers simultaneously. To find a specific one, we will use this Docker PS command. So this command shows a table with the several commands like container ID, unique and identifier, Docker, and the container ID. It is a unique ID that is given to every single container we run. So these images you can see these are auto generated, or we can give our own command if we need. Right now, it's automatically generated. So this thing, once we
identify.
this is a container. We need to copy this container ID. So why I ran this command in the first place is to get the container ID. So follow the docker IT. It means interactive, and paste your container ID. Break down this command after writing this. So docker exe means executable command in the running container. So we are basically this command help us to go inside the isolated container. So I means keeps the stream of data interactive shell. We can interact with the container. So sort of terminal basically, and it's kind of a format. And I'll click enter. Notice how our terminal prompt changed from this to this. So we are right now inside the container. Similar to this, if you're running PYD, we'll see we are in the workspace directory. This contains the project files we downloaded, the document configuration files, the examples I'll show you. I'll run ls. See, these are the files we downloaded initially. So these project files are just a development setup. The actual executable Cloud Code application was installed by npm during the container build, but it's not here. So it's like we are currently in a Linux system. The real application is not here. So we need to go to other directory. So I'll show you one by one. Local. I'll explain you what I'm doing after the complete npm. I'll explain you. And this URS means Unix System Resource Directory, which is an high-level directory. This and local contains locally installed software. This folder, this directory contains the folders from the manufacturers, like the people who write the application. It's like separate from the OS and shares holds the architecture, which means the all the files from Anthropic will be in this location. Folder contains the resource of the operating system, and this is separated from the operating system. So then we went into npm global, where particular contains globally installed npm packages. Then we went into a node module. This is a standard structure for package storage. And finally, we went into Anthropic K and Cloud Code folder. This contains the code base from the people who wrote this, from the developers who wrote this code. Now let's see what's inside this directory actually. You can see we have license. Now this is the thing you install and run. When you run it, Cloud Code automatically spins up. You can ask questions, right? This is the file that is being executed. We have typically see package JSON, which contains metadata about the packages, README, which is a basic structure information. And most importantly, you can see CLI.js. And this is the JavaScript bundle built after people write code in TypeScript. Compile this TypeScript file. So they have individual files, but when they compile it turn into one single huge JavaScript bundle. So that's what we are seeing here, CLI.js. This is the main target. We want to expose this CLI.js, so which contains the prompt, every single the tools which when you spin the Cloud Code, and when you ask to edit some certain files, you use certain tools, right? So that tools and instructions are being stored in this particular file. So it's going to be quite large. I'll show you the total count of the word. So just 3,000 lines of content. Just in bundle, you can't read it. It's basically huge. I'll show you the proof that it belongs to Cloud Code. Just a second. It's fully gibberish. And see, this belongs to the Cloud Code Anthropic's code base. So we are officially inside the file. I'm just showing you we are officially we are able to see the prompts from here. So why we are seeing this kind of clustered code is called minification. So process where all these commands have been removed. The people, you don't see any commands here. It's hard to read. It's like instead of a proper formatted environment, it's like tightly coupled, right? They intentionally made it so hard so we don't read the code or steal the code pieces. So, but there's other command that help us to reverse this process. So we'll use a code formatter called Prettier. It's a popular tool that takes code and break down and format it properly. I'll expect here like, and what file I can't. So I need a file to output, right? So I'll give a output file be moved to. We'll have a copy of newly spaced CLI will take few seconds. I'll explain you. So npx is a tool that comes with npm. So it helps us to run the npm package without installing it permanently. So prettier is a formatting tool and serialize the input file. And this symbol here is used to redirect the output to a new file. So this is the new file name. So we are going to read this code will completely be formatted and easy to read. So we can see the prompts more easily. This process might take few seconds because pretend it this tool need to pass all these lines of code, thousands of code, and when it does, it will you can see what is before and after this line of code. This process may take 10 to 15 seconds. Prettier has pass this form pause this large code and format this. When it's done, let's compare the before and after completed. But right now it's throwing me error that saying me I need to upgrade the npm, but it will not affect the output. Let's compare it. Can see the code difference. There's no integration, and with the integration, you can see it created new lines. So notice there's a dramatical difference in count lines. I told that the side bytes are similar for the two files. So let's look up the formatter structure to see the difference. So I'll read the first 50 lines. You can see you have intelligent spaces, you can read it, right? So it's, you can see term and conditions, all these things. Now we can see the proper JavaScript structure and variables, function definition, and logic group visible. However, if you notice the variables are still short and encrypted, like A, B, and E. So we can't understand this. This is because of amplification. I believe pronouncing it right. So it is, as I said, intentionally made to make it difficult to read it because it is a closest project. Nobody wants to open it and read the logic. So this is combination of like also the combination of multiple files together, and these variables are changed. So now we have formatted it. Now we are going to search for the prompt and see what Anthropic engineers have given to the LLM. So what are the tools have been given to this Claude Code? It can take decisions on based on the situation. For that, I will use a command called grep, which is a command line. It's kind of a search tool, and to find patterns around the context, surrounding context. I is for case sensitive, and it can like to find prompt. Prompt can be in caps or in lower caps, so it can be mixed. It can be anything, but so it need to be capital C. So I'll explain this. This is basically grep is a search tool, and means case sensitive. To find prompt, prompt can be capital, it can be in lower caps. So and C is for context, and phi the number indicates the context of lines you need to see and before and after the each match, and it help us to understand the other part of the code. So basically, if I give 5 or 10, if prompt there's a matching word prompt, it will show me the 10 lines above the matched word and below it, and it will return the result. So you can see this is the okay. I will set. As you can see, this is the official prompt for the Anthropic Cloud Code. This is a default prompt. Now, why I'm showing this, like you can read this prompt, you can use it in your code bases. Wait a second. Yeah, agents. While exploring this, I learned two things. Basically, the Cloud Code agents are it's a single architecture. Basically, it has one main orchestrator, and the orchestrator have three files. Like it has three tools. One is file reading tool, batch tool, and grep tool. Or search for file reading tool. There's a file reading tool and a bash tool and a grep tool just to read files and run shell script command and to search through this. There's a native tool with the orchestrator, and there's a something called agent tool or search for agent tool. Yes. This is the official prompt. So you can see agent tool. So this to spin up a temporary agents whenever it need instead of doing it its own whenever it's needed. Why I'm showing this? Because it's like whenever you see this kind of YouTube channel, this innate and workflows and other automation tools, these are workflows. They have a specific sequence of tasks, but unlike the Cloud Code is a agent. That's a difference between an agent and a workflow. So workflow have a finite path. It start in the first node, it will complete in the fifth node or sixth node. So depends on the node. But this agent have no sequence. It will act as per the situation, as per the requirement. So to build this, you need a kind of you have to think from the agent side to build this. So I also fascinated about this word called proactive now that has been used in this prompt. See, basically, I open this entire process show you the official Cloud Code prompts. They explicitly mention the agent to be proactive. So they explicitly mention the tone, scale, and ask it to be proactive and what are the things to be asked and how to answer. So why I'm showing to use this, when you're building an agent, you can use this prompt as a style. You can use this prompt styles for your agent to solve a certain problem. And because this is just an snippet what this engineers think while they are building it. So why you need a instruct the LLM the way it is. So you can just tell it in a very concerned way, but why this kind of detailed prompting? Because agents can be aggressive, it can act in numbers of way and can act unpredictably. So that's the reason most of the enterprise systems are not adapting to the agentic system. But this it shows a sneak peek what we can improve on in our agent to make it more predictable and stable. So I believe you'll love this. And finally, we went inside a container and saw how this Cloud Code works and what are the tools it use. And we saw about the agentic tool where it spins up a temporary agent so whenever it needs. And this prompt is to show you this basically to show you how you can explore the closed source project. And if you ask me, Bhagat, this is the only way we can explore the closed source project. No, there are other ways. Like you can use network proxies like Wireshark and other deobfuscation tools, like I believe pronouncing right. So, and other thing I want you guys to remember is you can't just copy paste this prompt into your workflows because this is specifically written for the families model from Anthropics, and if you do it for the models in from OpenAI, it may work differently because the way they build their training pipelines are different for each manufacturer. So I want you guys to keep it in mind. And to be honest, I want you people to try it on yourself and explore this code bases to see how it works. And this is the right way to learn, I believe. And if you like this video, subscribe to us. And if you have any doubts, comment and I'll try my best to clarify it. And if you want more video like this, also suggest us, share with your friends, and thank you.